Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still here. I'm back with a little summer book haul while I'm in Germany at home. Usually whenever I come home, I stock up on German books or books from other countries that have been translated into German and bring them back. But this time I tried to not do that because I still have quite a few books left to read from my last trip that I haven't touched yet. Nevertheless, I still have some books to show you. Some of these were gifts and some of them I got myself. And I will actually start with 3 books that I ordered from Rebuy. It's a website where you can get great secondhand books at a very, very, very small price. Unfortunately, they still haven't arrived yet, so I don't have anything physical to show you, but I wanted to get this video uploaded, so I'm just going to tell you about them. The first book is Das kleine Gespenst by Otfried Preußler. The English title is The Little Ghost. This is a children's book classic, a staple in the households here. It's from the 60s, and I've already read this. I read this last fall, and actually I did own a copy, but I gifted that one to my friend's son, so I'm just buying another one for myself, so I have it on my shelves. It's a very cute children's story about a ghost that deals with a kind of jet lag, and he's basically trying to make his way back home to the castle. Next, I have a book of non-fiction by Hasters. It's called Was Weiße Menschen nicht über Rassismus hören wollen, aber wissen, sollten. It's a very long title. It translates to what white people don't want to hear about racism, but they should know. Unfortunately, I don't think this was translated to English, but in short, this is a Black author talking about her life in Germany and how microaggressions and racism affects her in her day-to-day life. I heard a lot of great things about this book, and this topic has come up in just my personal life in the last few months again and again, so I wanted to make sure to grab a copy of this book when I get home. Obviously, as an immigrant, as an Asian person who is technically German, I have dealt with a lot of racism and microaggression while growing up here, and every time I come home as well. So this is, I think, going to be pretty hard to read, but I do want to be able to voice the frustration that I feel and be able to describe it better, because sometimes it's just this feeling that you have such a hard time explaining to somebody who's, let's say, a white German. Not that it should be my job, which is another nuance of that issue, but I do want to be able to put my feelings into words better and describe what I and other people in similar situations feel or are going through. I'm really hoping that this is going to be a highly educational book. I'm probably going to keep this for nonfiction November. Lastly, I ordered Weiß ich, wann es Liebe ist by Auður Ólafsdóttir. In English, it's called The Greenhouse. This is a book from an Icelandic author, and I chose to read the German translation instead of reading the English translation. If you watched my last video, you know that I'm trying to make an effort to read from new-to-me countries, and this is gonna tick a box because I don't think I've ever read something by an Icelandic author before. And how this book got my attention is actually through my boyfriend. He read this in school. I'm not sure if he read it in English or in French, but for some reason he read it and he said he remembered liking it, so I put it on my list for myself. I don't know a lot about the story, and as you know, I like to go into my books pretty blindly, but I think this is kind of a finding yourself, finding your roots type of story, because I think it's a dad with his daughter who goes to a monastery to learn things about his deceased mother, I think. Moving on to some physical books that I have here. So I got this copy of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. It's my first Penguin Classics book. I don't think I own any of these editions, and this is actually an English translation. It's not in German. So this was a gift from my sister's boyfriend for a belated Christmas gift, basically. And I was so happy about this because I have never heard about this work before. And it says on the back, written in Greek by the only Roman emperor who was also a philosopher without any intention of publication, the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius offer a remarkable series of challenging spiritual reflections. This is essentially his diary. My sister's boyfriend picked this up. Fun fact, because of PewDiePie apparently. He had mentioned in one of his videos that this is one of his favorite books, so that's why my sister's boyfriend read it. And what he liked is it shows how universal the human experience is. He was saying that reading through this diary, Marcus Aurelius was thinking about things like, oh, I'm working and I want to go on vacation, and you know, he goes through so many sorrows and thoughts that we still have today. That makes it very relatable and funny because Marcus Aurelius, it says here, was born in AD 121, and yet in a way we can, I guess, relate to him. I'm really glad I got this as a gift. I didn't even know about this classic, and once I read this, I think this will be the oldest book that I've ever read. Then last week I got up very early with my sister and we went to one of the biggest flea markets here in the city. It was in this huge park. I can't even describe to you how many stands there were. There were endless options of things to buy, and obviously there were also a lot of books. So I got this book for super cheap. I think I paid €3 for it. So it's a hardcover edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and I got this because these were the editions that I used to read when I was super young, and I am pretty sure, 90% sure, that I'm still missing this one. So I'm not actually gonna read this probably. It's just more for my childhood bookshelf, just to complete this. The last 3 books my other sister brought me from the Philippines and from Guam. So first of all, and this is really cool, she got me this book from Guam. It's called Mariquita Revisited by Perez Howard. So I'm just going to read to you what it says on the back, because I don't know if I can describe this or paraphrase this in a better way. Mariquita, first published in 1982, has become the most widely read novel about the Chamorro experience during World War II on Guam. If I understand correctly, the Chamorro are the indigenous people of Guam. Author Perez Howard chronicles his mother's vibrant life before the war, her enduring strength during the Japanese occupation, and her tragic death at the end of it. He also paints a vivid picture of life in Guam during these pivotal years. This book is described as a classic in Pacific Islander literature, so I'm very excited about this because it is so unique. And this will also count, obviously, as my read for Oceania, because I haven't yet read a book from Australia or Oceania yet, so this would be the pick for this year. How special is it that it is her son that wrote this book about her life? Lastly, she got me these 2 children's books. She said that she had a pretty hard time finding books in Tagalog that were, you know, easy for me to read, but I think she did a really good job. So this one is called My Magic Si Inay. I think that means My Grandma Has Magic. The story is by Segundo de Matias Jr. and the illustrations are by Rowen Agarao. What I find so cool about this book is that not only is it a picture book, but you have the text in Tagalog up here and then you have the English translation underneath it. So cool, because the last time I attempted to read a book, it was only in Tagalog and I had a pretty hard time. I was basically sitting there with my iPad, a translation app, ready, because there were just so many words that I didn't know, but this way I can just compare it right on the page. So this is going to be really exciting to read. And then the second one is called PaaasaaaluuuBONG, but like just the word is like extended as if you're shouting it. PaaasaaaluuuBONG is like a gift, like the stuff that you bring back to someone or like after traveling, basically. So the story is by John Romeo Venturero and the illustrations are by Buan. And I think, yeah, here it's the same. So here you have, once again, the text in Tagalog and the English translation below. So these are very exciting. My goal was to read 1 book in Tagalog this year, and if I read both of these, then I will have exceeded my goal, which is great. That was all for my little haul. I just wanted to check in with you and upload this video before I disappear for another 3 weeks. I hope your summer is going well. Let me know what you think of the books that I got, and if you know any of these, let me know in the comments if you usually buy a few books for yourself in the summer. And if you just want to let me know that you're still watching, why don't you leave me a little cat emoji? As always, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish content and if you want to know in my wrap-ups what I think of any of these books. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.